Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're doing a season review for rookie running back Ashton Jeanty of the Vegas Raiders. We're going to go through, his profile, some advanced stats, take a look at some all-22, and kind of see what's been happening to him. There have been plenty of games where he's just produced nothing on a whole bunch of touches, and then there's been other games where he's been absolutely dominant, where he's able to stack up multiple touchdowns in the same game. We're going to take a look and see how talented he appears, the situation, how much of it is affecting his play, and then finally what we might be able to expect from him in fantasy down the line, specifically from a dynasty's perspective. So watch to the end of this video and you should have a pretty good idea about Ashton Jeanty. Now, taking a look at his height and weight, he's 5'8", 211 pounds. That is great size for a running back. That's also a 32.1 BMI. Typically, we want our guys to have at least a 30.0 or higher in terms of body mass index in order for them to, generally have the build necessary to be a bell cow back. We're good from that perspective. He not only is built to be a bell cow, but he was selected 6th overall in this 2025 NFL draft out of Boise State and is just 22 years old on the dot right now this month. Now, taking a look at his athleticism, as far as I know, he didn't do anything at a pro day, and I know he didn't do anything at the combine in terms of drills, so maybe these numbers are from a private workout or something, with a team, or potentially just estimated, but Player Profiler has him running a 4.47 40-yard dash time, which is 84th percentile among running backs. That's a good number in and of itself. Typically, I care a lot more about the speed score, though, for running backs. So he had a 105.7, which is 83rd percentile. And you'll see on the All-22, speed is not going to be an issue for him. Once he gets going very quickly. Now, taking a look at some advanced stats from PFF, I took a look at NFL running backs with 150 or more rushing attempts. That was a sample size of 28 players here. Jeanty received 224 attempts. Now, that's as of the time of me recording this video. Some of these stats are going to change with him having 2 games yet to play in the season. But one thing I want to see first is his yards per attempt. It's 3.7. That's 25th in the sample size. That is well below league average. This is one reason why just yards per attempt as just an individual standalone stat, I think, is probably the most deceiving stat among running backs, because that does not take into account in any way, shape, or form the situation around him. It's obviously just how many yards divided by how many attempts, right? So not a very good number in and of itself. Now, his yards after contact per attempt of 3.14 is 12th in the sample size. This guy breaks tackles with the best of them. He always falls forward. He is like a bowling ball once he gets some speed to him. Now, in terms of his breakaway run percentage, that's rushes of 15 or more yards. It's only 18%, which is 25th in the sample size. I'm just going to let you know right now, the blocking is terrible. The interior of the offensive line is abysmal. You're going to see that time after time when we take a look at the All-22 later. So the big plays just don't come because there's a lot of penetration. The blocking isn't very good. Not really much you can do at times. Taking a look at his PFF rushing grade, his 74.8 is 20th, but it's pretty close to a good chunk of players right above him. It's not too different in terms of the grade in of itself. His PFF receiving grade in the sample size of 67.4 is 11th. That's a good number. I will say I don't really care as much per se about the actual PFF rushing and receiving grades in and of themselves, but it's just a data point for the video. But I do think he's a very good receiving back. You're going to see him lined up outside. You're going to see him used deep down the field. He is a very good receiving back, and he does not get the credit he deserves in that regard. Taking a look at his yards per out run, his 1.05 is tied for 15th in the sample size, pretty efficient. His elusiveness rating of 85.9 is 3rd in the sample size by a decent margin. There are some players that are ranked above him, obviously 2 other people, but he and Bijan being way above anybody because he's Bijan, but he is extremely elusive. And you'll see that on the All-22 film as well. Now, taking a look at his missed tackles forced, he has 54 on the season, which is 5th in the sample size, and his .24 per attempt also ranked 4th in the sample size. He is adept at making people miss. He does it with regularity, and he has to do it a majority of the time behind the line of scrimmage in order to really achieve anything. I mean, the blocking has just been abysmal. So if they improve that, I think we're going to see some ridiculous output from Ashton Jeanty. I'm taking a look at his rushing yards and yards per game. He has 828 on the season at 55.2 per game, to go along with 326 receiving yards at 21.7 per game, and 10 total touchdowns, 5 rushing and 5 receiving as of the time of me recording this video. But I want to take a look at the run blocking. So this is a PFF stat. In terms of their run blocking as a collective group throughout the season, they rank 29th in the NFL at a 54 grade. I think that's a very reasonable score for how good they probably are. I'm sure there are a couple of offensive lines that are less successful in terms of run blocking, but it's bad. Now, taking a look at some more advanced stats from Player Profiler this time. Taking a look at his dominator rating, that's his market share of the team's yards and touchdowns. His 34.7% is 4th in the NFL. And that really just speaks to how bad this offense is. Because he only has a little over 1,000 total yards and 10 touchdowns. And so for him to have this much of his team's market share of yards and touchdowns, like I said, speaks volumes as to not only how bad the offense is as a whole, but how good he is and how important to the offense he is specifically. I'm taking a look at his game script. At a negative 6.64, that's 29th. They are constantly trailing, not even allowing them to try to give him as many carries as he deserves and as could really help the offense theoretically. His run block rating of 7.9 is 58th among running backs. That's how bad that there are 57 other running backs that have received better run blocking, according to Player Profiler at least, and it would not shock me at all. In terms of his carries, his 224 ranked 13th. He does have games, where he does get a decent amount of run, but at times, once again, the game script just gets so bad that they just can't run the ball. He has 66 targets, which is 7th among running backs. Really good usage there in terms of giving him a decent amount of carries, but especially making sure he's at least involved in the passing game. He has 37 total red zone touches, which is 16th. But take a look at his yards created and yards per touch. That's an Ashton Jeanty stat. So he has created, and yards created are yards that are not blocked for him. He has 994, which is 7th among running backs, despite how bad the blocking has been. And then 3.63 yards created per touch is 11th. So he's not receiving any benefit from the blocking in the offensive environment as a whole, yet that's how good he is at creating the yardage. It's insane. His true yards per carry, which takes away rushes, I believe, of 10 or more yards, of 3.5 is 60th. Once again, what are you going to do when your blocking and offensive environment is just that poor? He has 4.2 yards per touch, which is 45th. But you take a look at his juke rate of 28.1%. That's his ability to force missed tackles. Of 28.1 is 7th. That's how good he is at making people miss. And he has 77 total evaded tackles, which is 4th. Despite, once again, only having, the 13th most carries. Now, taking a look at his snap share, he is a bell cow. His 76.9% is 5th among running backs. His 82.9 opportunity share is 2nd. His 238 in terms of weighted opportunities is 7th. That's the important carries. And team run plays per game, like I mentioned, 21.1 per game is 32nd. So, he's receiving basically all of the touches in terms of the runs, right, basically. But they just, since they're behind all the time, he just does not have the advantage of getting more total carries in a game. But we're going to take a look at some All-22 here, and let's see what his film shows us. And I want to give a special shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you to Big Hunt, SP, Mage Jack, Infamy MTG, AOYOB, The Don, and Any Buckeye. Thank you guys. I'm doing this full time now, and without your support, this would not be possible. If you'd like to become a member, I'm going to leave a link in both the comment section and description of this video. You'll receive not only, but including access to a Discord where we have a channel where we have NFL and college football talk, as well as a channel where we have fantasy football talk, and a third channel where we laugh at poor trade offers that we've been offered in fantasy football. But if you'd like to, you can always DM me with private, questions if you don't wish for it to be known by any community members. But you'll also get help with building your fantasy football teams every year. I'll use wins above replacement, as well as just looking at the general lineup and scoring settings to help you with your teams each year. I'll help you with trades that are advantageous based on those factors as well. You'll be part of a fun and growing active community. You'll not only receive access to videos early guaranteed, but you'll also have the ability to ask for personal videos that you and only you can view, Or potentially, if you'd like something to be shown on the channel, you'll have preferential treatment there as well. So please consider becoming a member. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video. All right, so taking a look at Jeanty's first run here, he's going to be looking to run a gap in between his center and his right guard. First of all, from the blocking, you're going to get an initial double team from the left guard and the center before the center looks to move up to the second level. You're going to get these guys kicking out. You're going to get these guys taking care of the people in front of them. You're also going to get Brock Bowers moving in motion to potentially block somebody coming from the edge. Now, on this play, you're going to see that Jeanty is going to have basically nothing to work with, but you're going to see him make himself skinny in the hole. You're going to see a lot of leg drive and then a lot of just pure will to get into the end zone here. I mean, this is what this guy's having to deal with. And so you'll see, as soon as the ball is hiked, you get the double team from the left guard and the center. And initially, it looks promising. It looks like potentially, this center is going to be able to move up into the second level. There should be a decent hole to run through. Unfortunately, once Jeanty, has the football and can now assess as to what's happening in front of him, the gap is closed. There's nowhere for him to go. So he's going to press up. He's going to get down, and he's going to drive his legs forwards, and then finally be able to escape into the end zone off the right side. And so, first game, really talented running back, and the offensive line is just not particularly great. And this is going to be a common theme, especially once they dealt with injuries to the offensive line, making it even worse than it was to begin with. Now, looking at the same game here, you're initially going to get a brief double team from the center and the right guard before the center heads upfield. You're initially going to get a brief double team here as well before Michael Mayer and the left tackle double team the edge player here. Unfortunately, what you're going to get is immediate pressure from the down lineman here into the backfield, as well as a free edge rusher. And so the moment in which Jeanty receives the football, he is going to have nowhere to go. So he's going to try to spin out, and, he does end up breaking a tackle, but the rest of the trailing defenders are able to catch up to him and tackle him at this point. But this is the lack of running room in which I'm talking about. Just look at this. So the second he touches the ball, there is a free edge defender right in his face on this side. The down lineman has already gotten an intense amount of penetration here. And so what is Jeanty supposed to do? So he's going to try to spin out, not really much he can do there. Now, he has another defender right in his face, of course. He is going to end up shedding that tackle, but by the time in which he's able to do so, there are, 4 guys right there with a 5th incoming, and there's just nothing for him to do. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to pop up on film time after time after time. He is having to create so much by himself. Now, here in week 2 against the Chargers, we are going to see some success, but it is running in the C gap this time as opposed to anything up the middle. Their guard play in general is just so bad. But first of all, what you're going to get is a double team from the center and the left guard here. You're going to get the left tackle blocking here. They are going to be in 12 personnel once again with Bowers and Mayer. Mayer is going to kick out here. Bowers is going to get downfield looking to block. And so that leaves Jeanty trying to run through the C gap here. And so, like I mentioned, this is going to be a rare example of the Raiders' offensive line doing its job in blocking. So you immediately get a really good double team. Fortunately, the linebacker here went into the double team, now making it essentially 3-on-3 here in the middle. You're going to get a good block from the left tackle as well as from Mayer. So he's going to get the football, head upfield. He sees a defender in front of him. He's going to lower his shoulder pads, break a tackle like he does quite often, and then eventually get tackled here. But you see what happens, any time that his offensive line is actually able to achieve the directive here. Block the guys in front of you. And here we have another example of Ashton Jeanty not being allowed to do anything. So you're going to get a counter. You're going to get Thomas, the tight end, blocking Derwin James out here. You're going to get these guys moving into a double team. You're going to get the center kicking out. You're going to get the right guard pulling to take care of this player. And then you're going to get Michael Mayer coming off the edge too. And so once again, Jeanty is going to be running a counter. But watch what happens. So initially, everything is looking all right for here. These guys down blocking here have moved him out of the way. Derwin James is somewhat neutralized depending on the angle he's able to achieve here by fighting through Ian Thomas' block. And you're going to have the pulling guard to take care of this lineman as well. So far, so good. Now, this player right here, the defender, is going to knock into Michael Mayer and shove him back into Jeanty. And so Jeanty, the second he's trying to cut to the outside, is going to have Michael Mayer thrown into him, thus derailing the run, leading to a loss of 5 yards. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This guy has not had a fair shot at anything this season. There really are no words for this. Now, taking a look at another game here from Jeanty, he is going to be looking to run B-gap between his right guard and right tackle. You're going to get blocks out here. You're going to get an initial double team on the nose tackle before you move up to the second level with the center. Colton Miller is looking to block here, and then Brock Bowers will as well. Now, watch what happens instead. So, the initial double team is going to be successful here. You're going to get good blocking from the right side of the line, but Colton Miller is just going to miss this block, and watch how disruptive this player is able to be. So Jeanty knows where he's trying to go. He's trying to set this up, but look, as soon as he tries to make a jump cut to the right, this player is already in his way. Now, there's a free player watching the edge here on the other side, so there's not going to be anywhere for Jeanty to go. He's going to try to break this tackle, but unfortunately, there's just nothing he's going to be able to do because Colton Miller just lost his battle so badly here. And this is why yards per carry is not a good stat in and of itself to show how talented a running back is, because most running backs don't have to deal with offensive line blocking like this. Now, here is an example of a lot of success from the Raiders' offensive line as well as Ashton Jeanty. Now, this was in his breakout game against the Bears. So you're going to get the left tackle kicking out here. You're going to get the left guard kicking out to the second level. You're going to get the center on this guy looking to wedge him this direction. You're going to get 58 headed to the second level. You're going to get motion across the field here to distract. And Jeanty will have a couple of decisions as to where he wants to run, but he is going to choose the B gap in between the left tackle and the left guard. But watch what happens. So we get a really good angle on this block here as well as here, and it allows the left guard to get into the second level immediately. Now, the motion from this receiver has also drug the secondary player across the field here, leaving him out of position. Now, you're going to get successful blocks into the second level, and Jeanty is going to choose to run once again in between his left tackle and left guard. Now here, he's going to get skinny. He's going to lower his shoulder pad, and he's going to have an angle to the edge of the defense with only Kevin Byard in his way. He is going to break this tackle from Kevin Byard with a lot of leg strength, and voila, you're into the end zone. And so, when given adequate blocking, this is what Ashton Jeanty can do. And, assuming the Raiders get some of their offensive line back healthy, they hopefully invest thoroughly in the offensive line, hopefully in a quarterback as well. We hopefully will see a lot more of this than what we've previously seen from Jeanty, albeit it's not really his fault. And just for good measure, one more example of poor blocking. This time it's from the right guard. So you're going to get your blocking here where the left guard is going to look to block this down lineman. This guard is going to look to block this down lineman. You're going to get your center and your right tackle down the field here. And if everybody held their block, everybody except the right guard held their block, rather, this should have been a successful play. Jeanty is going to run to the right here after a handoff from Gino, and you're going to get the left tackle blocking down this direction. Now, watch, once again, the right guard here and his matchup against this down lineman. So he is going to get the positioning in which he desires, I guess, but he's going to get dismantled. He's going to lose the leverage battle immediately, and Jeanty is going to be forced to run straight backwards. And at this point, due to this blown block, the edge player on this side of the field is going to be able to get the angle on Jeanty because the tight end wasn't supposed to block this far downfield, right? So Jeanty is going to have nowhere to go. He's going to try to get out of that guy's tackle. Unfortunately, there's just nothing he can do. And just yet another example of just terrible blocking, missed blocks that just make it impossible for Jeanty to do anything. I mean, he's being met 4 yards in the backfield, and there's just nothing he can do. Very frustrating. Now, moving on to some of his receiving ability, which has been a saving grace because, fortunately for him, he a lot of times doesn't depend on a ton of blocking in order to be able to actually catch the ball and do something with it. So you're going to get Ashton Jeanty rolling out to the right. It's going to be a PA fake from Gino. You're going to get Jakobi Meyers on a corner out as well. The Bears are going to be in, I believe, cover 2 man. So this... Trey Tucker is going to go in motion to this direction. You're going to get this guy following him all the way across the field, indicating man coverage. You're going to have 2 deep safeties here, and you're going to have your man coverage here. Now, this linebacker is going to be in charge of Ashton Jeanty in man coverage. He is going to be way too slow getting down here, and so Jeanty is going to be able to catch this for a touchdown. And so one thing I want to mention here, though, is Jeanty, he catches the ball, which is poor ball placement. It's essentially behind him. He's having to adjust his frame to be able to catch his football, thus allowing the linebacker to get to him, essentially. But he's aware and cognizant of what's happening, and watch what he does with this little shake-off move. Boom! Explosive, get off me. I'm just rolling into the end zone. That awareness... from Jeanty to be able to feel the linebacker behind him and make that, violent movement to be able to escape the tackle was really impressive, especially after the bad ball placement here. Really good stuff from Jeanty. And here we have an example of Ashton Jeanty being dangerous down the field, right? So he is going to be running a wheel route. You're going to get set up here by Jakobi Meyers, who's going to be running a little stab, but he's going to be purposeful with his route to help out Jeanty. As far as the Colts are going to be in cover 1 man, you're going to have your deep center field safety. You're going to have your man coverage throughout. And so this linebacker is going to be manned up with Jeanty. Now, the way in which Jakobi Meyers runs this route, he's going to stop purposefully right in the angle for this linebacker to be able to get to Ashton Jeanty to stay with him in coverage. It's essentially, a pick play to a degree, but no contact is made. He, for all intents and purposes, is just running a stab route, being Meyers. And this is going to help Ashton Jeanty get the angle down the field. And he displays good hands here, and he even tries to shed a tackle at the end through a spin move. So you'll see Jeanty has pretty good build-up speed. Good ball tracking, good catch, immediately turns into a runner. Now, he had no time to really be able to adjust here. He's going to try to spin off this tackle. He is going to end up getting tackled. But good display of his ability to work down the field. He can actually run real routes on the outside. I'm going to show you a clip of that later. But yeah, man, Ashton Jeanty is so dangerous. I really wish they would have used him more as a receiving weapon than they have, especially downfield. Really good stuff. Now, is Jeanty perfect? No. Here we're just going to see a simple case of the dropsies. He's going to leak out here. You're going to get this receiver in motion. He's going to run a little stop. You're going to get a deep out. You're going to get a shallow cross from Trey Tucker, and you're going to get an in right here. The Eagles are going to be in quarters or cover 4, so you're going to have your 4 deep quarter defenders with your underneath coverage here. And then your center field, your hook zone linebacker here. So on this play, really not too much to mention, just besides you just got to catch the ball. Their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, is running for his life here against the Eagles. He sees Jeanty as an outlet. Jeanty is going to try to turn ahead for him, get up the field, try to assess where defenders are, take his eyes off the football, and unfortunately it's going to be dropped. And so, not even Jeanty is immune from the occasional bad play here. But, once again, you just got to catch that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, this is going to be the final play in which we discuss. But if you are a Patreon member, please stick around. We're going to continue to show a couple more plays. But once again, thank you for watching this, regardless as to which platform you're watching it on. So Jeanty is lined up at the boundary out here. He is going to be running a sluggo where you fake the slant and hit the go. You're going to get double outs from these receivers. You're going to get an angle route from this receiver, and the boundary receiver at the top is going to run a 9. As far as the defense the Texans are in, they're going to be in straight cover 1 man, so you're going to have one guy on each receiver. Henry To'o, the outside linebacker, is matched up 1-on-1 against Jeanty. This is just a terrible idea, and you're going to get a deep center field safety. Now, the center field safety is not going to be in position to stop this route, so he's going to be matched up once again 1-on-1 with an outside linebacker. This is easily advantageous for Jeanty. Toto is going to get immediately cooked. Like I mentioned earlier, Ashton Jeanty is a dangerous receiving threat. One of the things I liked about him as a prospect is that he could be used downfield on a lot of those rail routes, for instance, out of the backfield. But he can run legitimate routes on the boundary. He has good hands, turns immediately into a runner, breaks tackles like crazy. This guy is so dangerous. So let's pay attention to Jeanty. So one thing that's going to work to his advantage is it's not really a cornerback, it's an outside linebacker, but the backer is going to get inside leverage here on Jeanty, which is only going to help Jeanty get outside of him and down the field. So he's going to be flat-footed as Jeanty pretends as though he's going to be running a slant. Then Jeanty is going to have the leverage he desires on the outside. He's going to have a free rein down the sideline here. He's too fast. Easy touchdown. Going to break another tackle. And, Ashton Jeanty is incredibly talented. I know he didn't have, the season from a production standpoint that we would really like to see from one of these backs that selected top 10 in IRL draft capital. But it's really just the situation. I cannot imagine how it gets worse for him. So I think we can probably project that the Raiders, try to shore up some of this offensive line, hopefully get a quarterback. So he may not see, the full potential production that he could if he was in a much better offense next season. But I think we're going to see a lot more good things from Jeanty this next season, as once again, hopefully they look to address the offensive line especially, but the quarterback would help significantly as well. Potentially we see some coaching changes for the Raiders. I'm not sure about Pete Carroll anymore. We already know Chip Kelly did not work out. But yeah, I have faith in Jeanty. I am going to be looking to buy low if I can anywhere in Dynasty. In redraft, his ADP should be much better next season. It was inflated, obviously, due to the rookie hype that happens with so many running backs, so many rookies in general. It's not even just running back specific. But yeah, I would be looking to invest in Jeanty if I was any of you. So, once again, if you would be so kind, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my Patreon. Thank you to my Patreon members. If you cannot or do not wish to, if you could just like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below, I'd really appreciate it. And so thank you guys. And if you're watching this on Patreon, feel free to continue watching. We're going to break down some more plays.